Hello and welcome to another edition of TV Enthusiast's weekly show, Marvel vs. DC vs. TVE. I am your host, Will Rorig, the master of comics. Joining me tonight is Tyson Gifford, editor-in-chief of TV Enthusiast.
Hello, everybody.
And tonight we will be discussing the latest episodes of Flash, Arrow, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and Legends of Tomorrow. So let's get started, shall we? First off, I want to discuss The Flash.
Indeed, it is time to talk about The Flash.
It was the first of the shows I watched this week, so I feel it's only right to discuss it first. This was a pretty good episode. Well, basically, Zoom goes back to Earth 1 with Caitlin as his prisoner, intent on taking over Earth 1 the same way he took over Earth 2. Wells basically lays out that the way Zoom takes over Earth is he incapacitates the police force, and then he starts recruiting metahumans to his cause, which we see in this episode, where the first thing Zoom does is he threatens the Central City PD, but Joe and crew manage to hole everybody up in jitters to try and hide them away from Zoom. After Caitlin makes a plea to Zoom to spare them, which Zoom seemingly seems to comply with, because Caitlin's like, no, don't kill them, I'll do anything you want, and Zoom seems to comply with her wishes. But this is all
Zoom's a big softie.
Yeah, he's a big softie when it comes to Caitlin. Yeah, right? So basically, well, what happens is, there's also, Cisco, vibes his brother, kinda out of nowhere. And so taking this as a sign, a pretty big freaking neon lit sign, Cisco goes to, see his brother, and surprise, they still don't get along very well. Even after their moment of bonding being captured by Leonard Snart, and and being forced to create a golden glider gun out of random, I don't even know how that happened, but that's the Flash. But basically, after a pretty miserable and unsuccessful visit with his brother is actually begging him for a ride home because he doesn't have one, surprisingly enough. And in the middle of that little argument, a metahuman appears and attacks them. And, oh Jesus, I forgot this guy's name. But he has this big, laser scythe or something that cuts through stuff. It's pretty badass, actually.
He can launch the projectile too.
It's pretty badass. He attacks them. In the middle of the battle, he reveals that he was Reverb's brother, and he's trying to get revenge on Cisco for killing Reverb. And then he takes off the mask and he reveals he's a doppelganger, or the Earth 2 counterpart of Cisco's brother, with freaky superpowers.
Yeah.
It's okay. Cisco and his brother get away from this new villain. And then we see a scene where he's colluding with Zoom, and Zoom commands him to go to Jitters and kill the Central City Police Department who's hiding out there, even though Zoom told Caitlin that he would spare them. He apparently goes behind her back and orders the kill anyway.
Yeah. Not such a big softie after all.
Not such a big softie after all. Caitlin, overhearing this, manages to get her hands on a cell phone. She manages to warn Barry and the Star Labs crew. And Barry doesn't have his powers, as we know from, like, the last episode. So, actually, what they came up with, and they were using it at the beginning episode, is they came up with, like, a flash hologram, which they set up to, like, kind of, like, simulate the Flash, or to fool, like, criminals into thinking they're fighting the Flash, and hoping that that would be enough.
So basically, they got their hands on the NX.
Yeah. Yeah, they got their hands on the NX. Whoops. Spoiler alert. It works on a pair of dumb criminals in the beginning of the episode. And so they figure, try this on this new villain. They do it inside the police station, which is, like, weird because, like, they said at the beginning episode they couldn't project it inside buildings. Whatever.
Consistency is, that's very important on the Flash.
Yeah,
that's right. Consistency is very important to me.
So basically, they project the inside jitters, and it's enough to take down Cisco's evil Earth 2 brother. But even though he's taken down, Zoom rushes in and basically does what Nintendo don't.
What Cis don't.
Yes. Zoom rushes in, and Zoom takes care of the CCPD himself, leaving only, like, Joe and, like, the captain and Barry, for whatever reason, alive.
It was kind of a cool scene because you see him just kind of zooming around the officers, and you just see their necks snapping.
Yeah, you just see it was a pretty cool scene. It shows how ruthless Zoom is, too. He's like, he doesn't give a crap. And so Zoom leaves, and Barry feeling even more, because, so this entire episode, there's been an argument, which this was also coming off the last episode, where Wells is like, let's redo the particle accelerator experiment to give your powers back. Yeah. And that sounds like such a monumentally idiotic idea.
Barry's three dads.
Well, that's actually not lost on Barry, surprisingly enough. Like, he realizes immediately that that's a stupid as hell idea. And so he rejects it out of hand. He doesn't want to do it. He goes to visit his real father, John Wesley Shipp, Earth, the Flash. He goes to visit his real father, and he tells him of his dilemma, and his real father, advises him, he's against doing it. Yeah. He's against doing it. Joe, not so against the idea, surprisingly enough. Joe's apprehensive, but his take is like, if Wells is so certain, and Barry needs his powers back. And Wells is just like, you need your speed back, Barry. I've done all the tests. I've done everything. This is 100% safe. I swear to God. And it's like, okay.
And so Barry's to hadron collide or not to hadron collide?
Yeah, dude.
That is the question.
So, but Barry's against it. Barry doesn't want to do it. He makes this big decision where he's like, I'm not doing it. Nope, forget it. After Zoom kills the CCPD inside Jitters, Barry's opinion changes quite dramatically. He starts to go, well, we need the Flash. So let's do it. And so they do it, and Barry disintegrates and dies.
Yeah, pretty much. And we see kind of like his energy or his speed force go launching out, and it runs right through Wally and what's her name?
Jessie Quick.
Jessie Quick, yeah. Right through Wally West and Jessie Quick. It
runs right through them, and I'm sure there's no side effects whatsoever. Nothing happened to them. They just got knocked over.
Yeah, I mean, they're just two characters from the comic books who are also speedsters in the comics. I mean,
Yeah.
what could possibly happen?
What could possibly have? Nothing happen there. Nothing to see there. Anyway, there's this really cool moment when like everybody's like shocked at what the hell just happened, and Zoom runs in, and Zoom is like, "You killed him, trying to give him his speed back. Well done."
Great work, ass hats, and takes off.
Yeah, pretty much. Zoom just rushes in and gloats and rubs it in, and then leaves. Yeah. Like Zoom's got to be feeling like happy as shit right now. It's like, I didn't have to kill the Flash; those idiots did themselves. Yay! And that's kind of where the episode ends. You know, it's kind of a shocking ending for the episode because you just aren't expecting like that to happen. You're like, what the hell just happened? What? I mean, I was right. I called it though. I was like, that Wells doing the particle accelerator gives Wally his speed somehow, and I called it.
Well, we don't know yet. It just seems obvious, but
we don't know yet. But yeah, we do know because it's like we don't know. We know they're not gonna come up with a better scenario to give this guy speed.
But this next episode of The Flash, which airs I have a theory about what actually happened to Barry. And Barry is not dead. I think Barry got consumed by the Speed Force, and now he's trapped inside the Speed Force. Yeah. And I believe what's going to happen at the end of the season is Barry's going to come out of the Speed Force more powerful than ever and ready to take on Zoom once and for all. That's just my prediction. I didn't read anything. I didn't watch the trailer for next week's episode or anything. This is off the top of my head. That's what I think is actually going on and is going to happen. What I was going to say was that next week's episode, which is tonight, when we're recording it, by the time this video's up, it'll have already aired, is being directed by Kevin Smith.
Yes, Kevin Smith. So that's going to be a good episode.
Mm-hmm. And he's signed on to do another episode next season as well.
He really loves the Flash.
Yeah, he seemed to have a good experience on the set, so.
He loves the Flash.
But yeah, that's that. Your theory, that seems to be about what I'm thinking too. And that they're going to end up, based on scenes from the next trailer without giving much away, like they're kind of like, it seems like they're kind of addressing some kind of a weird psychedelic episode. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what it turns out to be. It's Kevin Smith, so I'm sure there's going to be some humor in it. I've heard that there's a Jason Mewes cameo in it.
Yeah, of course. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see when that comes on.
Yeah.
So next, moving on to Arrow.
You mean Felicity?
Felicity. Yeah. Next, moving on to Felicity season 5. This was an episode. Yeah, I don't know. Okay.
It was an episode. That says it.
It was an episode. So Diggle is still hot-headed and out for revenge, and he decides to track down. The first thing he does is he decides to track down his brother Andy to confront him over Laurel's death and to get some revenge. Andy, not being stupid and knowing that Diggle's going to come after him, is ready for Diggle, and he manages to capture Diggle long enough to put a tracker on him. Diggle escapes from Andy, but that was the plan all along, because Diggle manages to lead Andy and Damien Dark right where they wanted it, right where they want to be. Right up to his wife Lila, who is now the head of Argus since Amanda Waller's untimely demise. Mm-hmm. And as the head of Argus, Lila, as the head of Argus, Lila is hiding something pretty important on her person, Like, basically this thing that can control all the nukes in the world.
On her person? She's kind of hiding it in her person.
So what's happening with that? So basically that is what Damien Dark is after the whole time. And so this leads to Damien Dark going after Lila. There's this intense scene. Also, I should explain that while this is happening, Oliver is looking for a way to defeat Damien Dark because he is not powerful enough to defeat Damien Dark. He gets
Constantine reference.
Yeah, he gets a tip from Constantine, and they go to meet like the shaman woman. I did not catch her name.
Yeah, she's like an immortal.
Yeah, she's like an immortal shaman or whatever, and she has like experience in light and dark magics and stuff, and she shows Oliver, like she explains to Oliver what Damien Dark's magic is, and then she explains that there is an opposite to his magic. So basically what that ends up being is it's like some kind of light magic. It's love. It's some kind of light magic.
Yeah.
And basically what it is like, it will only work if Oliver is like pure, I guess.
If he has more light in him than dark.
If he has more light in him than darkness or some
more love than hatred.
Yeah, or some mumbo jumbo. And she explains to them that if he has more darkness than light, then it will only like make Damien Dark more powerful instead of repelling him. And so she runs some tests with the magic on Oliver, and then she decides that Oliver has too much darkness in him and that it won't work and that he's a lost cause, much to Oliver's dismay. So they give up on that. Meanwhile, Thea is going on a date or something with her boyfriend or some kind of vacation getaway. That turns into a nightmare. Whoops. Because it turns out she's been drugged and she's been kidnapped by Damien Dark. And she's in like this weird, like,
she's in the Truman Show.
Yeah, she's in the Truman Show basically. It's pretty weird. She's trapped in like this place that looks like this idyllic town.
Yeah,
but
like a rich suburb.
Like a rich suburb, but she's like inside some like weird massive sphere somewhere. I have no idea, but yeah, so she's out of the game. And so basically what happens is like, so this converges because Lila is getting attacked. Diggle takes off with his daughter Sarah, basically having no backup because like everybody is occupied at the time. And then towards the end of it, like Oliver and Felicity come into the rescue. Oliver confronts Damien Dark, and then it looks like Damien Dark has the upper hand, has Oliver, but Oliver manages to repel him using the magic that he learned. And then when Felicity asks him how, he's like, "Oh, I thought of you." And
so Felicity saved the day again.
Yeah, so Felicity saved the day again, pretty much. And I think that was this episode of Arrow. It was alright.
This episode of Felicity wasn't that great.
Wasn't that great.
Ever since they changed the name of the show, it's been going downhill.
For reals.
So we got one more Arrowverse show.
Yep, that brings us to DC's Legends of Tomorrow, which basically, this was a pretty good episode. This basically, the team had successfully managed to capture Vandal Savage. The reason they captured Vandal Savage and not killed him is because Vandal Savage had Carter Hall, and he brainwashed him, and Kendra can't kill Vandal Savage as long as Carter Hall is brainwashed.
And derp to derp to derp.
And derp to derp to derp. So they got him captured. So basically, most of the episode is like, early in the episode, like Rip Hunter gets the idea that he finds out Vandal Savage has been traveling through time himself and manipulating the time stream, which is the same thing like he's in trouble with the Time Masters for. So Rip Hunter figures, oh, Vandal Savage has been committing crimes against Time Stream too, so the Time Masters have to arrest him. So if only I can get Vandal Savage to Time Masters, they'll arrest him, and then the future will change. Right? So, brilliant plan. So, basically, what most of the episode is just like various members of the crew talking to Vandal Savage, and Vandal Savage trying to manipulate them through his imprisonment. Like, he talks to Sarah and says, oh, you shouldn't trust Rip Hunter. Rip Hunter's only in it for himself. Ray comes to talk to him, and he's like,
Ray, oh
god, this is stupid. Because he's like, she doesn't love you. She loves Carter. You're only second to Carter. Trust me, I know from experience, blah, blah, blah. He gets Ray to question his whole relationship with Kendra, and then he goads Ray into getting into a fight with him and letting him orchestrating his own escape because Ray is stupid enough to fall for it.
God. Yeah, it was like the dumbest thing any character on the show has done.
Ray keeps doing stupid shit on the show. He is like the master of what's the dumbest thing to do? Let's do it. I'm shocked every time it happens. And it shouldn't be. What else? Rip sends Jax to fix the time module thingy.
The time-a-majig.
The time-a-majig. He sends him to fix it because basically ship was already damaged from the fight in the last episode, and Rip trying to push it towards the vanishing point, to the point where it completely breaks down, and he has to fix it before they can get Vandal Savage to the vanishing point to Time Masters, which basically buys Vandal Savage all this time during the episode to manipulate people and then orchestrate his own escape from the prison that they had him in.
As a result, Jax becomes Old Man Jax.
Yeah, it becomes Old Man Jax. Martin Stein recalling the ritual Vandal Savage used to make him and his associates immortal, or to make his associates immortal. The ritual. Martin confronts Vandal Savage. Vandal Savage reminds him that the ritual only works with Carter Hall's blood, and unless Martin Stein is willing to kill Carter Hall in order to perform the ritual on Jax, he's gonna have to find another way to fix Jax. And he does. Because while the ship cannot time travel, there is like an emergency pod ship that can time travel one time back to 2016. Martin reasons through some questionable timey-wimey stuff that if he sends Jax back to 2016, it will fix Jax's condition.
Yay, Legends of Tomorrow Science Department.
Yeah, I know, right? Whatever. It's like, whatever. I just accept it. Face it. It's like, sure. Yep.
Like, what do they, it was either that or they were going to have Captain Cold freeze his time by freezing him.
No, yeah. The next episode will be Captain Cold freezing time itself.
Yeah.
Like, Rip will be like, I know how we could do this. We need to freeze time. How cold can your cold gun get?
God.
What else happened? So
Well, there's a big twist in the episode.
Carter remembers who he is in the middle of the big fight with him and Vandal Savage fighting everybody on the ship. Vandal Savage manages to pretty much knock everybody the fuck out. And then when it looks like he's captured Kendra and is about to off her to complete, the cycle of him killing them every time they reincarnate, Carter instantly remembers who he is and he takes on Vandal Savage. He gets knifed in the gut for it. And then Kendra delivers this amazing beatdown. I don't know where that came from. I was like, holy cow, I never seen her fight like that before in the entire show. She just comes out and delivers this amazing beatdown of Vandal Savage. It turns out Carter is not dead again for a second time all of a sudden. That's what I thought first. I was like, what? He just kills him again? I was like, okay, what was the point in that? But no, he's alive. It's cool. He's going to be better, apparently. Yeah, I know, right?
He's back on the show, right?
Back on the show. Surprise, I guess. Rip Hunter.
They finally got somebody from a different time.
Yeah, I know, right? Rip Hunter delivers Vandal Savage to the Time Masters with incontrovertible proof that Vandal Savage was manipulating the timeline and is a time criminal that they should arrest. And what do? They say, oh, he's needed in 2016, send him back to Earth. Or 2016 or whatever. Send him back to Earth. And then it's revealed that the Time Masters are colluding with Vandal Savage because the future, I guess that's what Vandal Savage does. It's somehow beneficial to them. I don't understand. I guess it'll be explained, hopefully, maybe.
Because plot.
It'll be explained that my past self needed Vandal Savage until I kill my past self in a brilliant plot.
Zoom is a Time Master, confirmed.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, God. Legends of Tomorrow, what are you doing?
And it's that was Legends of Tomorrow. It ends with a pretty cool scene of Rip Hunter screaming. Rip Hunter is actually in prison now. The Time Masters arrested him and everybody else. And
not only that, but Vandal Savage has a cool nudie pen.
Yeah, I know. Now he has a cool nudie pen. And that's Legends of Tomorrow.
Joy.
So that's all the DC stuff for this week. Now we get to Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which had an all-right episode this week.
Still better than the other three.
Yeah, still better than the other three. As far as episodes for S.H.I.E.L.D. this season go, I wasn't crazy about this episode, but yeah, it's still better than DC stuff. This was the episode where Coulson and his team decides to confront Hive to take him down once and for all. How? I don't know what they were thinking.
They just sought enough firepower and they'll be able to do it.
Yeah, one missile in the shoulder, that should do it, right? One rocket in the shoulder. And some guns. Yeah, that's some firepower. Impressive, S.H.I.E.L.D. Let's bring a couple of guns and a rocket launcher with one rocket. That should do it.
Meanwhile, Hive has his own plans he's putting into action.
Yeah, he has his own plans he's putting in action. Well, Hive wants to Hive is a populist, alright? Hive doesn't just want to recruit all the Inhumans. He wants everybody to be an Inhuman. So Hive figures if everybody is an Inhuman and under his influence, then there will be no wars, no strife, peace on Earth. It's a very, very utopian ideal, actually, right?
Yeah.
Just with him,
humanitarian.
Yeah.
So he's trying to recreate the Kree experiment.
Yeah. But
which
it's not.
they try out on some of the remaining Hydra people.
Yeah.
And they just kind of melt.
Melting. And then it's realized it didn't work because they need like actual Kree blood to do it. Because Hive was created using Kree blood. And the blood he was using wasn't Kree. It wasn't like pure Kree blood. It was just like inhuman blood. Which
it wasn't even inhuman blood. It's Ward's blood.
Oh yeah, it was
the blood of Ward's corpse.
It wasn't good enough. Oh yeah, that's right. It was from him because he thought because he had Kree blood in him that it would work. But it doesn't work because, it's way too old. They need a fresher sample. So he summons some Kree Reavers down, using the device that he recovered. And we realize that that's the sole function of that device, to summon those Kree. And that's why he was so afraid of it, because these Kree have the power to kill him.
And they're not from their home planet. They're like an orbit. They've been like orbiting Earth. Yeah,
they've been orbiting Earth this whole time, apparently. And they come down, and apparently they're just total jobbers, because I don't even know why Hive was afraid of these goobers in the first place, because he didn't seem like that challenged by them.
No, not at all.
Not at all. He pretty much handily takes out the one Kree that comes after him, and the others are taken out similarly easily.
Yeah, Daisy takes out one. He takes out one. Daisy's keeping one alive because they're trying to drain its blood.
Yeah.
But then Mac shows up.
Yeah, then Mac shows up, and Mac takes it out completely because preventing them from using its blood.
Mm-hmm.
Which pisses off Hive, but then Daisy comes up with a brilliant idea. Daisy remembers that Coulson pumped some Kree blood into her recently to keep her from dying. And so she realizes that she has Kree blood, fairly fresh Kree blood in her, and they could use that for Hive's experiment. Before that, Mac has this idea the whole episode that Daisy is, even though Daisy's under Hive's influence, like there's a part of her that can still be reached, that wants to be that she wants to be reached.
I think he's right based on what happened. It's just a matter of that it was too small. Like it was almost like subconscious actions that Daisy took and didn't even realize she was taking.
Right. Well, that's what Mac read. Mac was reading the subconscious actions that she was taking, and he acts on those, even though Coulson warns him, that that's not the brightest idea. But Mac rushes out to meet Daisy, and he finds Daisy. He confronts her, and it doesn't go very well. Daisy literally nearly kills him. After trying to convince him that S.H.I.E.L.D. should just become Inhumans and support Hive's experiment. After he rejects that, Daisy nearly does kill Mac, and that's when he realizes how far gone she is here.
Yeah, and now Daisy seems like she's done with S.H.I.E.L.D. now.
Yeah,
after Mac interfered with the plan, she's done trying to,
Yeah, she's not trying to save them. She will kill them the next time she sees them. It's basically her attitude now. Which sucks for them, but they'll find a way. And like I said, S.H.I.E.L.D. tries to take out Hive. It's a laughably pathetic attempt that I can't even believe they even entertained the idea that was going to work for a second. I mean, Hive kills that Kree Reaver, and then they're like, "Oh, unload everything!" And they got handguns, and they shoot a rocket at his shoulder. Why? Why? What shoulder?
It's his Achilles shoulder.
Yeah, which grows back immediately, and then it's okay, well that was the most ineffective attempt ever. Come back when you actually have some way to kill Hive, Shield.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for Shield. We'll have to see what happens next week. Next week's gonna be a fun episode.
Again, tonight.
Again, it aired tonight. Yeah, Shield and Flash actually air on the same night, which is pretty cool. That's it. No, that's all the shows that we've been watching on Marvel and DC.
But we have one more Marvel thing we wanted to talk about. It's a little off topic.
But I don't care. Civil War. Oh my God. Okay, so first of all, what did you think of Civil War?
I liked it a lot.
I'm going to try to keep this is going to be spoiler free, by the way. Okay, I want to say that up front. This is going to be spoiler free because I don't want people watching this and being like, oh my God, now they just talked about the entire movie. My night's ruined. So spoiler free. We're just going to speak in generalities of what we liked, what we didn't like, but again in like general terms. So what I loved in this film, Spider-Man, Peter Parker, spot on. They nailed it in a way like
Ant-Man as well. Both Spider-Man and Ant-Man.
Ant-Man did, yeah, definitely. Ant-Man, he, in my opinion, he has the best scene in the entire movie. Like literally, he has like this jaw-dropping scene. I don't want to say more to spoil it, but it's so good. So good.
It's part of what's probably the biggest scene of the movie. So it's like this really huge scene towards the middle of the movie, the later half of the middle scene in the movie. And there's like a really, really big scene. And most of the really cool stuff in the movie happens within the scene. And Ant-Man probably has the coolest part within that part.
Yeah. In my opinion, so Ant-Man is awesome in this movie. Spider-Man is awesome. I was really happy with that. Black Panther was awesome in this movie. Again, spot on. Marvel knows its character. Marvel knows its properties better than anybody. This just proves it. Spider-Man, Sony couldn't get as convincing of a Spider-Man as they got.
Cool scene in the entire movie though. The motorcycle.
Oh, yep.
Soldier with the motorcycle.
Lol, Winter Soldier.
He took that motorcycle, man. That was badass.
Worst parts of the movie. War Machine. Awful. I don't know why they keep making War Machine awful in these movies. He is such a jobber in like every movie. It's like, really?
It's not as if they have like an actor that's holding him back there either. They have Don freaking Cheadle, you know?
Yeah, Don freaking Cheadle. Yeah, it just stumps me. What else was pretty? What else did I liked so much?
Some people were mixed on Baron Zemo.
Baron Zemo, yeah.
Movie. Did you like him or not?
Nah, you know what? Nah, he didn't really make a big impression on me. He was just kind of there.
I don't think he was supposed to though. That's why I kind of liked him. I kind of liked what his role was because it wasn't about him being this huge villain with this massive plan and stuff. It was about him trying to meet out this objective, and like by purpose, he's kind of forgettable, or like, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of by part of his purpose is to be that way. So I actually kind of liked the way that played out. I'd say for me, the biggest disappointment for the movie, without spoiling anything, is that it just didn't end with as much of a dramatic punch as I would have liked.
Nope. I thought it had the perfect amount. I have to disagree with you. I felt it had the perfect amount of dramatic punch. I felt it ended like the best way it could possibly end without them doing something silly or stupid like, let's kill off Iron Man or Captain America. Oh, I'm sorry, spoiler. No, they don't die. I'm sorry, I ruined that. Jesus. I just felt like I just felt like the way they ended it was the right choice for this, especially going forward. Like, it also makes more sense going forward in the MCU for what they're doing with future movies, because you don't want, like, too much, like, angst or animosity going forward. You really don't. I felt like, and this is one of the things where I appreciate Marvel Studios in their writing and the amount of restraint they show versus like what happens in these comic books. It's like what happens in a Mark Millar like Civil War comic book shows zero restraint whatsoever, where like the Russos know exactly what dramatic beats they need to hit, what to play up, where to hold back, where to go all in. Like, the Russos are seriously the best things to happen to Marvel in ages. They are. They're better. Their movies are better than Joss Whedon's Marvel movies. I said it.
Well, the complaint I've heard somebody else make, which I kind of agree with, is that the whole Civil War was like too civil, you know? It was too friendly. They were like holding their punches back too much. Aside from Black Panther, who was really trying to kill.
Well, it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like that because these people were friends. You know, they were teammates, comrades. You know, they're not going to be like, oh, I'm going to rip your head off now. It's like, that would have been stupid.
But I would have liked it to have gone to the edge of that, not necessarily over the line.
It does.
I would have liked it to go to that line.
It does go to the edge of that at the end of the film. It literally does. Like between like Captain America and like Iron Man, it literally goes there. It like almost like crosses the line right at the end of the movie. So like that happens. So yeah, I don't understand that.
I don't know. I disagree that it wasn't as much as it should have been. Like, I think that they should have drawn clear battle lines after the airport fight. It should have been a bit harsher. It should have brought them right to the edge, and what happened towards the end should have pushed it kind of temporarily over the line and then kind of fallen back with time, basically. So that's how I feel it should have gone. As I complain and say this is still probably my third favorite of all of the MCU movies. So it's not like I dislike this movie at all, you know? I'd still put this ahead of Avengers. I'd put this behind Winter Soldier, and I put it behind Guardians of the Galaxy. But I wouldn't put it behind any of the Avengers films. I wouldn't put it behind, you know, Thor or even the original Captain America or any of that. So I still consider it very highly. I just feel like it could have used a more emotional punch towards the end. It didn't even necessarily have to be a huge overblown thing like we got in, you know, Batman vs. Superman, but it could have just used a bit more of a punch. I feel than what we got.
I disagree there. I thought it was like the perfect amount. I felt like there's this moment at the very end. I can't even say it. Like, I so disagree with what you said, and like my one point, I can't even say it because it spoils a huge thing, but I'm like, nope, it goes there. It does. It really goes there. And then like they pull back just the right amount. And I think like, it's almost like, you know, when, like a roller coaster when you're shot down and then they pull in and, you know, you exhale and then you stop and then you like breathe. That one moment at the end, that's what it feels like. And it's crazy. And I don't know. I think for a moment there at the very end, it does go there. And I get what you're trying to say, but I'm kind of happy for the restraint because at the end of the day, at the very end of the day, I don't like seeing heroes fight each other. I think I was talking to like a coworker the other day who absolutely refuses to watch the movie because he says superheroes shouldn't be fighting each other. And he won't go and see the movie because he says it's stupid. And I'm like, okay. But in a way, I kind of agree. I don't find that fun. That's why I didn't like Civil War as a comic book because it was too nasty. It was like heroes fighting each other and nobody cared about like, and in that book, nobody cares about like their previous, the fact that they were friends or teammates, it's just all of a sudden Tony Stark is this mustache twirling supervillain, and it's so dumb. And again, it kind of like
I agree. I agree that they're kind of like that's like the far opposite end of what the movie ended up doing. And I like the movie better than if it had followed that path. My point is just, it isn't that it should have gone the same way as the comic, so much as that it needed a bit of a heavier punch at the end for me. And I think that would have fed more into kind of the position that the Avengers basically, because that's basically what this movie is. It's not really, it's Captain America Civil War in name. It's basically the Avengers.
Hold up. I want to stop you there because this is very much still Captain America's story, despite.
Yeah, well, it's a continuation of the Winter Soldier story in many ways.
Yeah, in many ways, it's a continuation of the Winter Soldier. The story is very much, story-wise, thematically, it's very much centered on Captain America more so than anybody else. Like, this is still Captain America's story. It's just like, it's like these people exist in Captain America's world. So, and obviously he's very close to these people. These are teammates, again, friends and stuff. So, I mean, it's one of the cool things about having the Marvel Cinematic Universe and having like all these movies like be interrelated and connected is that now you have it set up so that you can have Iron Man be in a Captain America movie and have it be totally natural and still have it be like Captain America's movie instead of being Iron Man's movie. You can totally do that. You can have Spider-Man in this movie and still have it be about Captain America.
I agree, but this was very much an ensemble piece.
Yeah.
So like it in many ways felt like an Avengers movie.
Oh yeah,
in many ways to me. And if you look at, Avengers: Age of Ultron itself, the second Avengers movie, was pretty much a Captain America movie that was hijacked by Iron Man. It started out as the Captain America movie. They're like closing down the remaining Hydra bases. It's very much in that kind of Hydra story, which is very Captain America. And then it goes right into the Ultron stuff, which is like Tony Stark's territory. That's like, now it's an Iron Man movie. So it's like it started as a Captain America movie and became an Iron Man.
I think as this cinematic universe matures and these characters start interacting more and more with each other, I think the lines, of like what I think it's going to get murkier going down the line as to what defines, is this a Captain America movie or is this an Iron Man movie?
Oh, I completely agree.
Yeah, Captain America is in Iron Man 4 now. I mean, it's going to get even murkier now because we are out of the ballpark of saying this is a Captain America movie. Only Captain America is going to be in it.
And basically Thor Ragnarok is basically going to be Thor Planet Hulk.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's the cool thing about having this. This is a special thing about Civil War is that this is delivering on the promise that was made when it was first revealed that Iron Man was part of this connected universe, that they weren't going to do Iron Man as a standalone film like they did with every Marvel film before that came out, that when they revealed Iron Man was the beginning of this connected universe. Stuff like this was the ultimate promise that had.
Oh yeah, even more so than the Avengers itself, because it's like step 1 was the individual story, step 2 is them all coming together in the Avengers. And step 3 is basically, well, now that the Avengers has happened, they've all been influencing each other's lives past that point.
Yeah, step 3 is like now they can come and go in each other's films and exist together in the same universe, and you can do cool shit like Civil War and have it be perfectly natural.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I'm looking forward to the same kind of thing with the Netflix shows. Where we've already gotten a little bit of crossover, but I think that after the Defenders happens, we're going to start seeing a lot more crossover within those Netflix shows for the seasons that go after the Defenders. So I'm really looking forward to them doing that and that as well.
All right. So to wrap up, what did you think of Civil War? Letter grade, quick.
Letter grade, B+.
I'll give it an A. For appropriate, right?
A for Avengers.
All right. So this has been another episode of Marvel versus DC versus TVE. I was your host tonight, Will Rohrig. Tyson Gifford joined me. Tune in again next week where we will, of course, discuss the latest episodes of Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, and S.H.I.E.L.D. Until then, good night.
Night.